me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta feel the tension. In my thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. We have good and bad news today. So we'll just get right into it. Jalen Ramsey was carted off the field with a knee injury guarding Tyreek Hill. And what it's looking like is that him and Tyreek Hill collided and something happened with Ramsey's knee, and he he could not walk on it, so he had to be carted off the field to the locker room. We're gonna hope for the best. I think obviously we are all kind of just like because I mean, out of all the injuries, that one is probably the one that you definitely didn't want to see. You don't want to have any injuries, but I think even for Jalen Ramsey, anything to do with your knee, you're like, God. Ugh. So basically, we're gonna see on Friday what his condition is. Maybe even tomorrow. Yeah, probably Friday. Mike Daniel's gonna go on a presser to discuss what happened. I think we'll be okay. I really, really hope it's nothing serious, but if it is, I do believe out of all, for some reason, the cornerbacks on the Dolphins seem to just take such a hit. I think we're good depth-wise. I think Cater did a fine job last year, and I think he's going to have to step into that role again this year if Jalen Ramsey, has a more significant injury, which we'll talk about that. We're also going to go into the training camp day two besides this. I just wanted to, get this out the way because I saw it and I was like, no. But, yeah, so he was carted off the field. He could not walk on it. I think we just have to get ready that he's going to be out for a little bit, if not the whole season, which would really stink. That would suck if he was out the whole entire season. But we'll see what happens. We just have to wait for Friday to figure out what happened to Jalen Ramsey. But on top of that, today was a defensive day, and it just, it's exciting to see stuff like that. Obviously, we'll talk about, some of the offense and what the offense did. But basically, we're speaking about him right now. Cater Kohu intercepted Tua. It was Tua's only interception. He was actually guarding Tyreek Hill. So the Cater Kohu looked amazing today. He looked fantastic. He looked like he's been improved since last year. So, like I said, with the Jalen Ramsey thing, even Cam Smith looked really good. He had a pass breakup, was really sticky in coverage. So our corners look really good today. And since the beginning, they've all looked really good. Cater, this is why, with Jalen Ramsey going down, I'm not going nuts like, the season's, you know what I'm saying? I think some people are going to be like that, but Cater Kohu is going to step in and do a really good job, regardless of what happens with Jalen Ramsey. I have full faith in Cater coming in to being the opposite of X, and it just means that X is going to have to step up, man. He's going to have to guard the number ones again, and, we're going to have to see where that goes, but I have faith. If it's the one, let's just consider if it's the one unit that can take an injury, it's probably that one. We have a lot of corners on this team. We'll see what happens. But Cater had an amazing day. Cam Smith had an amazing day. Xavier Howard had an amazing day. The defensive backs really did a fantastic job today. And it's obviously that's the strong suit usually of a Fangio defense is having those safeties. And the corners are they're guarding the number ones. They're guarding Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They had a really good day. Like I said, Cater Kohu, Tua's only interception. Forgot to talk about this guy in the last video, but Mitchell Agood, guy from University of Miami, he is looking really good as well. Obviously, he is not playing with the ones, but he was playing against Skyler and had a bunch of pressures on Skyler. He was getting to the backfield a lot. So that's another undrafted free agent that we can look for. And Peely looking really good. Like I said the last video, I think he's really one of the ones that's going to make the 53 roster. And Aubrey Miller, he did really well today. You know, he stopped A-Chain. He stopped Wilson. You know, another really good day by Aubrey Miller. So I would say out of the three that I forgot to mention Mitchell Agood, but Brandon Peely, I really think, is going to make this roster, and Aubrey Miller might be a special teams guy coming into this season, and we'll see where he goes with that. But let's go to the offense now. So Tua actually looked really sharp. He after he was picked off by Cater Kohu, he actually went right back at Cater and threaded the needle right to Robbie Anderson. So Tua looked really good. You know, per usual, Tua was lighting it up, doing really good. He had that tattoo. It looked really cool. But yeah, Tua looked really good. Skyler actually is doing, you know, here's another thing that we'll talk about. Skyler Thompson, I think, is going to be the number 2 quarterback. Since OTAs and minicamp and now, Mike White has just looked like Mike White, where it's just, there's no consistency. Some throws are awesome, and then there's other throws that just, you're just like, man, what happened? And that could be due to, you know, not being too familiar with the offense, but also, this is how Mike White's been. He is one of those guys that just, he's never consistent in his play. So Skylar Thompson, I really think, is going to be the number 2 quarterback on this team because he's playing great. I mean, he's getting by. I think the play of the day was him to Braxton Berrios for like a 60-yarder, which Braxton Berrios looked really good. Very shifty. They had the play of the day. Tyreek Hill, though, I mean, I'm not getting nervous about it. I know Tyreek will be fine in the season, but coming into training camp, he's dropped a couple of passes. So I think he's going to shore that up coming into, you know, the third day. But this is the second day in a row that he's dropped some passes. He's getting really frustrated with himself, which is great. You know, this is where you want to do that stuff. You know, you want to drop passes, you want to throw interceptions, you want to do all of that in training camp. You're doing and studying new things. You want to get the kinks out first. So having these things happen during training camp is perfectly fine. I know people are going to overreact, but honestly, going into this training camp, I feel like this training camp is so much calmer than any other training camp in the past couple of years. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's so much more of a calm, mellow, where nobody's like, oh my God. It's not like that right now. It's just very calm. Tua's doing great. You know, the defense is doing good. Just a lot of those things. You know, it's just looking really good. A lot of our star players are playing like stars. You know, Robbie Anderson's doing really well. Braxton Berrios, I think, is doing fantastic. You know, he's going to be a great punt and kick returner. Skylar Thompson is really showing that he's coming into the mold and he's learning a lot. He's definitely much more improved from last year. And the defense, man, it's a clear as day difference. You know, having Vic Fangio as the coach, it's just a night and day difference with this defense and how they are reacting, how the corners are reacting. The corners are doing a fantastic job right now. Now, going into the negatives, obviously Tyreek Hill dropped a pass, you know, which is just, it's a drop pass. But one of the guys that I had a high motor for was Elijah Higgins, and he's not doing really great. So we're going to see what happens coming into the season. But Elijah Higgins is really struggling, which is granted. You know, I think he was a 6th-round pick. It's warranted. You know, it's warranted that he was going to struggle, dropped a pass, and he's struggling with the playbook and route running. And just in general, the tight ends are just not looking, you know, obviously amazing, but that's warranted because we don't use a lot of tight end stuff, and tight ends we have aren't really that great. So we'll see what happens. I think Smythe is just going to be that reliable guy. We don't use tight ends, but, you know, the tight ends are kind of, they're probably the least effective thing on this team right now. But it's warranted. We don't use tight ends. They're going to be mostly blocking. They're just doing the plays right now. And this is the second day of training camp. So everybody's still kind of learning the playbook. They're learning what they need to do, their assignments, all these different things. They're learning all of it right now. You want to get it out now. So in conclusion, man, we just basically, the offense and the defense. The defense looked fantastic. The offense looked really good. You know, there's a couple of kinks that we need to figure out, but as a whole, man, it's looking like a really dominant team. We'll see what happens with Jalen Ramsey coming in tomorrow on Friday. We'll see where he's at. You know, I'm knocking on wood that it's not anything serious. But if it is, man, I mean, really consider that we have a lot of corners. Cam Smith looked good. Kader Kohu looks good. We have Xavier Howard. We'll even see maybe even Trill Williams goes back to cornerback instead of transitioning to safety, and we kind of have that depth there. We'll see what happens, man. I'll let you guys know more. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See what the situation is with Jalen Ramsey, and do day 3. But as always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Fins up, baby. Peace.